Welcome to TalkNorth.com. Thanks to our longtime producer, Brandon Morton. Please download before you listen. If you'd like to advertise with us, you can reach us at talknorthpodcast@gmail.com. And please follow us on Twitter at TalkNorthPod. Two promo codes to be aware of. Bitesquad.com. Use the promo code TalkNorth to get your first delivery free. And go to SodaStick.com, the great local apparel company. Use the promo code YouBetcha to get free shipping on any sized order. John is live. Of course, you'll hear that it has a recording, but right now, I promise you, John is live at U.S. Bank Stadium at the state soccer tournament. I wish I could be with him. I will be doing face-to-face shows with him again soon. Just finishing up a back convalescence. I'll be fine in a minute here. I'm Jim Suhan from the Star Tribune. John, of course, is the prep guru from mshsl.org. You can find his work at John's Journal. And please follow us both and everyone involved with the Talk North Network at Talk North Pod on Twitter. We have some future announcements, might have some giveaways, and you can find all the show and the show releases there. Thanks to our producer, Brandon Morton, and thank you to our sponsors, Pizza Barn, Princeton.com. That's, of course, the pizza barn that is in Princeton, and Bitesquad.com, promo code Talk North. So let's start with where you are and what you've seen today, John.
Yeah, Jim, so you got a bad back, and I'm alive. That doesn't say much for either one of us.
You know, at our ages, I think we're both doing okay.
I think we're hanging in there finally. Yeah, I'm sitting in the press box at U.S. Bank Stadium here. It's Halloween. We got the 4 soccer state championship games. We're more than halfway through the day here. The sun is setting inside the stadium. It's really not bad. You know, it's not a Vikings-sized crowd, but all these schools bring out everybody, and it's you can bring everybody from 2 schools, and you're going to fill up about 2 sections here. But I'll run through the games that are complete here. The Class 1A girls, Matamidi beats Orono 3-2. That's the 3rd state championship in a row for the Matamidi girls, and the 3rd state runner-up finish for the Orono girls. They've met in the state championship game 3 years in a row. And if you thought 3-2 in regulation was close in the second game, the 1A boys, Holy Angels, beat Blake 3-2. That went into double overtime. And the winning goal came with about 10 seconds left in that second overtime. Otherwise, that would have gone to a shootout. And right now, we just reached halftime at the 2A girls game. Maple Grove is leading Centennial 1-0, and we'll close the day and the soccer season with the 2A boys game, Edina versus Eastridge, Battle of the E's there. So it's just great to have these games in sight here. You know, we talked last week. I was out around the state watching quarterfinal soccer games on cold, windy nights. Boy, is this a treat to be in here, and we'll be back in here for football, state semifinals, and prep bowl games later in November, and just a great place to play. And all the way through this week, we had 2 days of semifinals and championship games today. I don't think there's been one game you could consider a blowout. These have all been, 1 or 2 goal games, several overtimes, a couple of shootouts. And everybody has had a lot of fun in here.
Cool. I wish I were there. As we, listen, this is not a new thought, but U.S. Bank Stadium might be one of the best venues I've ever been to. Target Field, same. XL Energy Center is one of the best hockey venues and concert venues I've ever been to. The Gophers have certainly upgraded all their places, and I still love Williams Arena. We have so many great places, and it's awesome when the kids can get inside and take part and see the locker rooms and the innards and everything else.
Yeah, it really is. And I follow other state governing bodies on social media, and I'm seeing state tennis tournaments in cold weather states that are being played outside. In some states, they play softball in the fall. They're having, state tournaments in softball now. And in both of those sports, there's weather delays. In Colorado, I think, it might have been field hockey. They basically had to move their state championship games or whatever round of the state tournament it was. They basically had to blow off a couple of days because of bad weather, rain and snow. So to have these kinds of facilities for all our sports, and we've talked about this time after time, there's no other state in the country that has these major league facilities for all these big time sports. And even like our girls state tennis tournament last week, both classes are held indoors. Most states, even in these, especially in these cold weather areas, they play tennis outdoors all the way through the state tournament. It's one thing if you're in Florida or Arizona or Texas, but in Michigan or Ohio or Indiana, they're playing state tournament tennis outside. We're very lucky to have all the facilities we do here.
Absolutely. Let's get on to football playoffs. That is a big deal in this state and every state. What's going on there?
Yeah, we're in the section finals here. So today, Thursday, and then Friday, we'll have all these section finals played, and state playoffs will start next week. So 56 teams will qualify for state, 8 teams and 7 classes. And I watched a couple of section semifinal games last week, along with, like I said, 6 outdoor soccer state quarterfinals, and watched some state tennis. I was pretty worn out by the end of last week. By the time I woke up Sunday, I felt like I'd been baling hay all week, as old and out of shape as I am. But saw some really good games. I watched a 6A, that's the big school, it's the 6A football playoff opener at Burnsville. Rosemount beat White Bear Lake 35-21. Burnsville's good at football, or Rosemount's good at football. We know that. A kid named Christian Grasky rushed for 5 touchdowns for Rosemount. And this was at Burnsville. I tweeted about this because Rosemount's grass field has absolutely been destroyed by rainy weather on game night. So Rosemount played their last 2 playoff games on the road. They were home games because they're a high enough seed. They had home games, but their field is unplayable. And same thing with the girls soccer team, which made it to US Bank Stadium here, the state semifinals. They had, I think, 4 home games moved to other fields, and that's too bad. I know there's hope that they'll get turf fields at Rosemount, and then that's a district with 4 high schools: Rosemount, Apple Valley, Egan, and Eastview. If you got to put in 4 of those, you're talking more than $4 million. But I'm hearing they may at some point have kind of a rolling schedule to get those schools turf. With some financially smart people in the school district, that'd be great, because they're pretty frustrated at Rosemount. And you got to move, your football games and your soccer games to other places instead of playing home games. And one more thing about Rosemount football. This is the first time I'd seen them this year. I don't think I saw them last year. You get to a high school game, you grab a couple of programs. Just, they're basically sheets of paper. And on the Rosemount program, instead of listing the grade of each player, senior, junior, sophomore, freshman, they have their graduation year. And I'm not smart enough to figure that out. I'll look at, like their quarterback. It'll say grad year instead of class. And then if it says 2020, I can maybe figure out, okay, that guy's a senior. But it just seems, I don't know why they do that. There's probably a reasonable explanation. I don't know what that is. Yeah. But come on, let's put senior, junior, sophomore, freshman.
Please.
For the dumb guys out there. Please, I'm just, there may, and I tweeted about that, and there were probably 20 different scenarios where people thought this is the way they do it. Anyway, I got to have something to complain about. So that was last Friday night, and then Saturday I drove out to Hutchinson, one of my favorite places to do anything. They had a section semifinal game, Class 4A Section 2. Hutchinson took care of Mankato East pretty easily, 60-14. Hutchinson has had great football for a long time. This is maybe one of their better teams. And there's always been kind of a grinded out team. Hutch will play wishbone offense and I formation. It's old school football. They kind of win with long punishing drives. They don't let the other team have the ball much. This was a little different. They had scoring plays that included 63 yards, 79 yards. 55, another 55-yard touchdown, a 60-yard touchdown, and an interception return, 101 yards for a touchdown. That's pretty impressive. And I thought Mankato East had a good team, a lot of good athletes. But Hutch really played well. And I was talking to Andy Rosberg, the coach, afterwards, and I said the first thing that impressed me was these kids from Hutchinson And this isn't new. This is Hutch football. They don't hurt themselves. They don't make mistakes that hurt themselves. And it was very efficient, big play game. And they actually even threw the ball a few times, which is kind of goofy for Hutchinson to throw the ball. They just don't do that much. But really fun to watch. So Friday night this week, great big game at Hutchinson. The Marshall Tigers are going to come to town. Should be a great section championship game there. I'd go if I could, but I can't get back there again. And for the second year, speaking of the football playoffs, in partnership with Second Harvest Heartland and the high school league, where we have what we call a SAC Hunger campaign. So this year, the way we're doing it, all 56 football teams that qualify for state and their communities, they're all going to be invited. The ADs are all going to get an email from me to take part in the SAC Hunger campaign to basically gather food donations that can be shared in their communities and their areas. And we will have a new champion in the second year of the SAC Hunger campaign. The winner last year was a tiny little Spring Grove High School down south of Rochester. They did not make it to the section final in football, so they're still going to do that. They do this every year. They're going to raise a lot of donations and feed a lot of people down in Houston County. They just won't be qualified to be a part of this. It's a great thing we've added, just kind of add some community support and give everybody something nice to do for other people. So we're excited about that as we get to the state football playoffs.
Busy time of the year. Let's get to cross country and volleyball, some other sports. Do want to thank Pizza Barn in Princeton. And, of course, you can find out everything you need to know about them at pizzabarnprinceton.com, including the pizza of the month, the beers on special, their dine-in specials, their takeout and delivery specials, and you can actually order online at pizzabarnprinceton.com.
You bet. My wife and I were coming home from a thing the other night, and we were talking about either stopping for pizza or ordering a pizza. And I said to the Twitter famous @Beth Millea, man, I wish we were going through Princeton because I know where we'd go get a pizza. But it didn't happen. But I promised her we're gonna, maybe when things calm down here and we're looking to take a little drive, we'll go up there. Over the summer when we were out in California meeting our new grandson, I took my Pizza Barn T-shirt and had somebody take a picture of me standing in front of the vineyards in Napa County where our son lives, and sent that to Jody Stay at the Pizza Barn, and she likes to put those on their Facebook page and tweet them. And I thought doing one from Napa was a long ways away. There's a new one on their Facebook page. I think they tweeted it too. Some folks with Princeton connections were at a wedding in Jamaica. So there was this picture of, I don't know, 6 or 8 people on a boat in Jamaica, all wearing their Pizza Barn T-shirts. That put me in my place. But yeah, it's a great place. They've been remodeling the dining room up there. I think, according to Jody, I saw a video on the Pizza Barn Facebook page. Remodeling's just about done. It looked great. It looked great to me. And people should know every weekend they've got a weekend special at the Pizza Barn. You buy 2 large pizzas to eat in or take home, and they'll give you free cheese bread or cheese sticks or a little dessert pizza. I'm big on dessert pizzas. We may plan, when my wife and I go up there, we may plan it around a little weekend so I can get that dessert pizza.
Two of the best words in the English language, dessert and pizza.
Two things. I have no problems with dessert. I got no problems with pizza.
And by the way, I wore my Pizza Barn T-shirt today to the chiropractors, and he asked me about it. So we're spreading the word everywhere we can.
Yes, we are.
Let's get to the state cross-country meet coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, this will be a big day down at St. Olaf College in Northfield. It's always great. Looks like the weather might be a little chilly, but that's okay as long as it's not wet, and we can handle wet too. So there are 2 classes in cross-country, 1A, 2A, small schools, big schools. So we'll have the first race will be at 10 a.m. with the 2A girls. The 2A boys will start at 11 a.m. And then the 1As, the gun will go off at 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon, followed by the 1A boys at 2. It's interesting. There was a tweet from someone this week. I tweeted the cover of the state tournament program for cross country. And the system we have is the professional photographers we work with. The only time we hire professional photographers is state tournaments, basically state championship games. So like this year's state tournament cover for, soccer, volleyball, cross country, everything, football, all include photos from last year's state championships. So one of the 4 kids, in fact, the cross country cover has the 4 state championships, the 4 individual state champs from last year, pictured on the cover.